Today, we are going to take a look at one of the most enduring and intriguing treasure hunts in history, the Oak Island Mystery. Oak Island is a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, that has been the subject of countless searches, excavations, and speculations for over 2 centuries. Many believe that the island hides a vast treasure of unimaginable value, possibly linked to pirates, secret societies, ancient civilizations, or even biblical relics. But despite the efforts of hundreds of treasure hunters, no one has ever been able to find the elusive treasure, or even prove that it exists. What is the secret of Oak Island? Who buried the treasure there and why? What clues and obstacles have the treasure seekers encountered along the way? And is there a curse that prevents anyone from finding the treasure, as some legends claim? In this video, we will try to answer these questions and more as we delve into the history, the mystery, and the curse of Oak Island. Discovery. The Oak Island adventure begins in the summer of 1795, when a teenager named Daniel McGinnis saw strange lights offshore from his parents' house, which was nearby the town of Chester on Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia. He went out to search for the source of the lights by rowboat to a nearby isolated island in Mahone Bay, which is Oak Island. As he explored the island, he came across a large depression in the ground, about 13 feet in diameter, surrounded by 4 oak trees with branches cut off. He noticed that one of the trees had an old tackle block hanging from it, suggesting that someone had used it to lower something heavy into the hole. McGinnis thought that this unusual-looking area signaled a pirate treasure hiding place. Mahone Bay, after all, had been a notorious pirate haven during the 17th and early 18th centuries. McGinnis returned to the mainland and recruited 2 friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, to help him dig for the treasure. They brought shovels and picks and began to excavate the depression. To their surprise, they found that the soil was loose and easy to dig, as if someone had already dug there before. They also discovered layers of oak logs, flagstones, and wooden platforms placed at regular intervals, every 10 feet, as they went deeper into the shaft. They also noticed marks of tools and pick scrapes on the walls of the pit. The 3 boys dug until they reached 30 feet, but they found no sign of the treasure. They decided to abandon the excavation, as they were scared by the strange features of the pit and the possibility of a supernatural curse. They vowed to return later with more men and equipment to resume the search. However, it would take another 8 years before they could fulfill their promise. In the meantime, the story of the mysterious pit spread among the locals, and some even tried to dig there themselves, but with no success. In 1803, McGinnis, Smith, and Vaughan formed a partnership with a wealthy businessman named Simeon Linz, who agreed to finance a more organized and professional expedition to Oak Island. They formed the Onslow Company, the first of many treasure hunting companies that would operate on the island. Excavations. The Onslow Company arrived on Oak Island in 1804 with a team of skilled workers and a large wooden platform to cover the pit. They resumed the digging from where the boys had left off and continued to encounter the same layers of logs, stones, and platforms every 10 feet. They also found coconut fibers, charcoal, and putty, which were not native to the island, indicating that someone had deliberately placed them there. At 90 feet, they made a remarkable discovery: a large flat stone with a mysterious inscription on it. The stone was about 2 feet long, 1 foot wide, and 3 inches thick. It had strange symbols carved on it, which looked like a code or a cipher. The workers could not decipher the meaning of the stone, but they hoped that it was a clue to the location of the treasure. They removed the stone and continued to dig. However, as they reached 93 feet, they encountered a problem. The pit suddenly flooded with seawater, and they could not pump it out. They realized that the pit was somehow connected to the ocean, and that they had triggered a booby trap that prevented them from going any further. They tried to dig a parallel shaft, hoping to bypass the water, but they failed. They also tried to drill through the water using a metal rod, but they only hit more wood and metal. they gave up and left the island, leaving the stone behind. The stone was later moved to a nearby farm, where it was used as a fireback. Over the years, several people tried to decode the stone and came up with different interpretations. One of the most popular ones was made by a professor named James Leachy, who claimed that the stone read, 40 feet below 2 million pounds are buried. However, there is no evidence that his translation was correct or that the stone was authentic. The stone was eventually lost or destroyed, and no one knows where it is today. The next major attempt to find the treasure was made by the Truro Company in 1849. They also tried to dig and drill through the water, but they met with similar obstacles. They did manage to recover some items from the pit, such as a piece of parchment with the letters V on it, a fragment of a gold chain, and a spruce platform at 98 feet. They also discovered that the water in the pit rose and fell with the tides, confirming that it was connected to the ocean. They suspected that there was a tunnel or a channel that linked the pit to the shore, and they decided to look for it. They found it on the southeastern end of the island near Smith's Cove. There, they uncovered a complex system of drains, made of rocks, logs, and coconut fibers that formed a sort of artificial beach. The drains were designed to let the seawater flow into the pit and to prevent anyone from reaching the bottom. The workers were amazed by the ingenuity and the craftsmanship of the drains, which must have taken a lot of time and effort to build. They tried to block the drains by building a cofferdam around the cove, but they could not stop the water from entering the pit. They also ran out of money and had to abandon the project. The Oak Island mystery attracted more and more attention and more treasure hunters. Over the next decades, several companies and individuals tried to solve the puzzle using different methods and technologies. Some of them were the Oak Island Association in 1861, which dug to 88 feet and exploded dynamite in the pit, hoping to break the water tunnel. They also drilled to 126 feet and claimed to have hit a wooden chest, but they could not retrieve it. The Oak Island El Dorado Company in 1866, which drilled to 120 feet and found traces of gold, but also failed to reach the treasure. The Halifax Company in 1867, which drilled to 112 feet and found a cement-like substance, but also encountered the water. The Oak Island Treasure Company in 1893, which drilled to 151 feet and found wood, iron, and a piece of porcelain. They also sent divers into the pit, but they found nothing. William Chappell in 1931, who drilled to 163 feet and found an axe, a miner's pick, and a piece of metal with the number 1,704 inches on it. He also excavated a nearby shaft, known as the cave-in pit, and found a triangular stone with strange markings on it. Gilbert Hedden in 1935, who drilled to 176 feet and found more wood and metal. He also tried to decipher the stone inscription and came up with a different translation. 10 feet below are 2 million pounds. He also searched for clues in old maps and documents and became interested in the theory that the treasure was related to the Knights Templar. Irwin Hamilton in 1938, who drilled to 190 feet and found more wood, metal, and coconut fibers. He also tried to block the water tunnel by injecting red dye into the pit and tracing its flow. He found that the water came from 3 different sources. Modern day. The Oak Island mystery has not lost its appeal in the modern day, as new generations of treasure hunters have joined the quest, using more advanced tools and techniques. Some of the most notable ones are Robert Restall in 1965, who moved to the island with his family and spent 6 years digging and exploring. He found a stone with the letter R on it and a heart-shaped stone with a hole in it. He also claimed to have seen a human hand in the water. However, his search ended tragically when he and his son, along with 2 workers, died of carbon monoxide poisoning in a shaft. Dan Blankenship in 1967, who became fascinated by the Oak Island story after reading an article in Reader's Digest. He partnered with David Tobias and formed the Triton Alliance. They drilled and excavated various sites on the island and found several artifacts, such as a wrought iron scissors, a Spanish coin, and a piece of parchment with the letter N on it. They also lowered a camera into a borehole and claimed to have seen a wooden chest, a human body, and some tools. However, they could not confirm their findings as the borehole collapsed. Rick and Marty Lagina in 2006, who are the current owners and operators of the island. They are the stars of the popular TV show, The Curse of Oak Island, which documents their ongoing efforts to solve the mystery. They have employed various experts and technologies, such as metal detectors, ground-penetrating radar, sonar, and seismic testing, to explore the island. They have made some significant discoveries, such as a lead cross, a brooch, a gold button, a garnet ring, and a bone fragment. They have also found evidence of human activity on the island, dating back to the 13th century. They have not given up on their quest and continue to search for the treasure. Theories. The Oak Island treasure has inspired countless theories and speculations as to who buried it, why, and what it contains. Some of the most popular and plausible theories are: the treasure belongs to the pirates, such as Captain Kidd, Blackbeard, or Henry Morgan, who used the island as a secret base and a hiding place for their loot. They built the elaborate pit and the water tunnel to protect their treasure from other pirates and authorities. They left clues and symbols, such as the stone inscription and the triangular stone, to mark their territory and to guide them back to their treasure. The treasure belongs to the Knights Templar, the medieval order of warrior monks, who fled to the island after being persecuted and disbanded by the King of France and the Pope in 1307. They brought with them the relics and secrets they had acquired in the Holy Land, such as the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, or the bloodline of Jesus. They built the pit and the water tunnel to conceal their treasure and their legacy. They left clues and symbols such as the cross, the brooch, and the parchment to indicate their presence and their mission. The treasure belongs to the Freemasons, the secretive fraternal organization, who have a historical connection to the Knights Templar and the pirates. They used the island as a repository for their knowledge and wisdom, such as the secrets of geometry, astronomy, and alchemy. They built the pit and the water tunnel to safeguard their treasure and their mystery. They left clues and symbols, such as the stone inscription, the triangular stone, and the number 1704 to communicate their message and their code. The treasure belongs to the British, the French, or the Americans, who used the island as a military or naval base during the colonial wars or the American Revolution. They stored their valuables and supplies, such as gold, silver, or weapons, on the island. They built the pit and the water tunnel to secure their treasure and their strategy. They left clues and symbols, such as the scissors, the coin, and the metal piece, to identify their ownership and their alliance. The treasure belongs to the original settlers, or the indigenous people of the island, who lived there before the Europeans arrived. They buried their belongings and artifacts, such as pottery, jewelry, or tools, on the island. They built the pit and the water tunnel to preserve their treasure and their culture. They left clues and symbols, such as the coconut fibers, the charcoal, and the heart-shaped stone, to signify their heritage and their lifestyle. The treasure is a hoax, a prank, or a natural phenomenon, and there is nothing of value on the island. The pit and the water tunnel are the result of sinkholes, erosion, or human activity over the years. The clues and symbols are random, coincidental, or fabricated. The artifacts are mundane, irrelevant, or planted. The mystery is a product of imagination, exaggeration, or deception. Conclusion. The Oak Island treasure is one of the most captivating and mysterious stories in history. It has challenged and fascinated treasure hunters and historians for over 2 centuries. It has also sparked countless theories and speculations, ranging from the plausible to the fantastical. It has also claimed several lives and fortunes, and earned a reputation of being cursed. But despite all the efforts, the obstacles, and the discoveries, the treasure remains elusive and undiscovered. No one knows for sure what it is, who buried it, or why. No one knows if it even exists, or if it is worth the trouble. No one knows if the mystery will ever be solved, or if the curse will ever be lifted. But perhaps that is the real treasure of Oak Island, the mystery itself. The mystery that keeps us wondering, searching, and dreaming. The mystery that inspires us to explore the unknown, to challenge the impossible, and to discover the truth. The mystery that makes us human. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more mysteries and stories.